Hey yo, King Fight News, back at it. Eddie Hearn is set to meet with Al Haymon and Shirley Winkle. Now, Shelly Finkel. And that's going down on Thursday to try and make Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. More on this, guys. Hey yo, King Fight News here. So, Eddie Hearn is set to meet with Shelly Finkel, Al Haymon on Thursday. And this is pretty much, I think media-wise, this might be the meeting that decides if this fight happens. It just might be. I mean, right now both sides have not really been able to agree on the purse split, date, venue, everything. So all that information's on the table. The word is it's supposed to be a 2-fight deal, one in the UK, one in the States, which I find weird since they're having so much trouble figuring out a purse split. It's supposed to be a 2-fight deal. You know, rematch clauses in effect. Ultimately, I just hope this isn't a PR stunt, because I mean, Eddie Hearn pulled this shit before, back in November of last year, where he's supposed to have some type of breakfast meeting, and we all kind of knew that wasn't anything that could potentially turn into a fight, because Deontay Wilder still had to deal with at that time in November. I think that was just after the Bermane-Stavern fight, if I'm not mistaken. And nothing really came out of that concrete. It was just like a meet and greet, basically. So this is the real one. Al Haymon's supposed to be in the building. Shelly Finkel in the building. Eddie Hearn in the building. These are the guys, you know, behind the scenes that make these fights happen. I'm talking about these massive fights. So, you know, whatever it takes, hopefully, you know, they can convince Eddie Hearn to be a little reasonable here. And I mean, get off that flat rate bullshit. Because we're talking pay-per-views, we're talking percentages, you know, Showtime. Who knows if HBO is going to have a license fee? There's a lot of money on the table. Literally a ton of money on the table. So, for Eddie Hearn to get stuck on a flat fee is kind of ridiculous. It really is. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what the outcome of that meeting is. I'm sure IFL TV, Eddie Hearn ends up, you know, it's almost like on a daily basis he's there with IFL TV and he's doing interviews over and over again talking about the situation, and it's just getting drawn out. It's getting, you know, a bit played out, you know, whether it's his excuse or him saying, hey, you know, Team Wilder, they're not talking to us. I mean, just pick up the phone, Eddie. Like, when is it time to pick up the phone and try and make a fight happen instead of crying over to Coogan? You know, why? I don't know. That's just my take on it. I think this fight's so big. You know, both of these sides should be pushing for it to happen, and hopefully they can iron some of those details out, whether it be a purse split, venue, date, you know. Because Eddie Hearn still has to file an exemption for the WBA. I haven't heard anything on that. I mean, and this was to have either Alexander Povetkin step aside, right? You could pay him to step aside, or you could file an exemption, and you could do both. But it is what it is at this point. I mean, Deontay Wilder has been noticeably silent for a guy that ends up, you know, speaking his mind and being very bold and brash with his words. He's been absolutely silent on the issue. Anthony Joshua seems to have, zipped up, so to speak. He's not really talking either. So, there's some positive signs. I mean, silence is something that you have to go through during negotiations. You can't really speak on things, and hopefully this fight gets made. I mean, this is the biggest fight in boxing. I know we're probably gonna see Canelo Triple G in September, but as boxing fans, we just got robbed of Cinco de Mayo being a highly anticipated fight week, and I think this needs to happen, man. There's no doubt in my mind this would put the heavyweight division in the forefront above the welterweights, above any other division. And I think that really matters from a boxing standpoint, from a purist standpoint, and for both fighters' legacies. Imagine if, negotiations fall through, they can't make a fight, and the titles find a way to get split up. Let's say, Joshua, say he doesn't want to fight one of his mandatories, say WBO mandatory, and that title gets vacated. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and for this situation, to have the potential to have an undisputed champion heavyweight is rare in and of itself. It doesn't happen often, so it would be a real kicker if Eddie Hearn or Al Haymon didn't make this fight happen. I've heard a lot of speculation that Wilder's team, they can't really counter offer. I don't know what bullshit that is. I mean, Team Wilder, if you got Al Haymon backing you, this is a guy that manages hundreds of millions of dollars, that brought boxing back to national television, regular cable. He's the man that did it. He started it, and now promoters are following suit. But he brought it back. He's the first man to literally bring it back to that nationwide scale. I know Main Events, Kathy Duva had something on NBC Sports, but I'm talking about like Fox, CBS, ESPN, Spike. This is all regular cable channels. So it's a big deal, guys. This is a big deal. And Deontay Wilder has a ton of mainstream appeal in the U.S. Not to say everyone knows who he is, but he's been on mainstream television. He's been on that Wags Atlanta show, whatever that is. Whatever that is. It's some type of show that a lot of people watch on a weekly basis. Not only that, his knockout over Bermane Stavern went absolutely viral. That first round KO just lit up the internet, man. It just lit it up. And then he's coming off a total barn burner, a war with Luis Ortiz, guys. I mean, honestly, this is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. There's way too much money on the table for this fight not to happen. E-King's Fight News, more on this, guys. Now, my sort of prediction here is I tend to believe that Shelly Finkel has spoken on a counteroffer. Perhaps this is finally the time to present the counteroffer for Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Perhaps this is the time. I mean, Al Haymon's in the room, Shelly Finkel's in the room, Eddie Hearn's in the room. Who knows? Maybe Anthony Joshua will be arriving in the U.S. And I think this is the time that they will present that counter offer, and hopefully it's something that Eddie Hearn will have to take into consideration. And for sure, what needs to happen is they need to offer Joshua more money than he would normally make in a fight. I think say you give Joshua $40 million guaranteed, and from there you just sort of work on the details and a percentage split that would be reasonable. That's sort of how I see it. I mean, what else can go down? I mean, Eddie Hearn seems to be stuck on a flat rate. I think the only thing that can really change things up is this counter offer that, I mean, it should be ready by now. So let me know what you guys think. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and give me your thoughts on this meeting that could potentially make or break the fight. E-King Fight News. More on this, guys. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.